Art is a crime, and the biggest criminals are the graffiti artists. This is according to new Radius Mayor, and our main character Train is about to become the most wanted person. I want to start with the things I don't like before I continue with the story, gameplay, etc. Firstly is the lack of any video options besides resolution that you can choose in a launcher. Secondly, you cannot rebind in-game the keys. You have to delve in a file if you want to change them, but it's not necessary. Thirdly, mouse sensitivity is high, and again you have to delve in the files to lower it. This applies to FOV too, just check PC Gaming Wiki. Also, I have problems with the AI, but later I will cover it. There are a few small bugs that are worth mentioning. In some cases they are overlapping voices or they are too quiet. In others, the game starts loading when the cutscenes is not entirely over. But the biggest bug I encounter is flickering when painting a graffiti. If you select restart, it doesn't restart from the last checkpoint, but in the beginning on the level. I found that the hard way. Also, it's worth noticing almost 1 minute loading times when you enter a new level. None of this is game breaking, it's just annoying and most of the problems can be fixed. So after I left behind all the negative stuff, it's time to concentrate on the positive, and from here to the end of this review, it's all done. Graphics are alright, it's a 9-year-old game, so they didn't age very well, but the game is definitely not ugly. People are jaggy, but the city, or to be precise, parts of the city are well made, vibrant, colorful, despite the crazy situation. In the end, if you are turned off by the graphics, you will miss a lot. You take the role of Train, young man who wants to make a name by becoming graffiti artist. Despite the protests of his grandmother, he ran away from home with that idea in mind. In the beginning, Train is making his way in the slums where he grew up, and he painted in the wrong places and encountered vandals of New Radius and their leader Gabe. Our hero is beaten by the gang, but he gets up and continues to make graffiti. But the New Radius artists like Train are not welcome. What in the beginning is getting revenge on the ONR soon becomes more complicated. While painting graffiti, Train faces the bitter reality. New Radius is shiny outside and rotten inside. Mayor Sung wants to make the city look prosperous. For this purpose he is using CCK, Civil Conduct Keeper, armored police force created by the government to suppress free speech and people from the slums by using violence as long as no cameras are around. Pretty soon Train finds out that Sung's hands are dirty. Half of the game is making a name for Train, and the other half everything turns 180 for him, and the graffiti is one of his ways to protest against the corrupt mayor. The other is his fighting skills. The story is worth following, but don't expect something groundbreaking. Sweet gameplay. It's a mix between Prince of Persia style acrobatics, street fighting, stealth and painting graffiti of course. Train likes to make graffiti not only on the ground level, but on high and dangerous places. Big part of the game is platforming. Climbing on outfalls, bridges, walking or hanging on ledges, bouncing from walls, on so many different places. Don't expect from Train to do wild acrobatic stunts like in Prince of Persia or Assassin's Creed. He feels heavy, but agile enough, and I like this. Train is a regular guy, not some superhero. Fighting system is great. If you are coming from a game like Batman Arkham series, maybe you will be disappointed, but I love it. As a whole, the battles are a little bit slow but more strategic. This is not Devil May Cry. You have a punch, a kick, combination of both, grabbing enemy, block and dodge roll, but that's not all. You have to change combo frequently and dodge roll because enemy can adapt and block your punches and kicks. But there is a cure for that. Under your health is a power bar. While making 3-hit combo, hold the button on the third press and this will break the block with a powerful punch or kick and make more damage. But the power bar drains fast and there is 2 ways to restore it. Stun an enemy and make humiliating move or just hit him. Of course you will unlock new set of moves for kicking, punching and so on. Grabbing is especially useful for dealing with powerful enemies. Fighting feels great. Train doesn't know martial arts, just what the streets taught him. If you run into 4 or 5 enemies, you may be able to beat them. It's hard, but it's not impossible. It's better to stalk and eliminate them one by one. And when you get in a fight, watch when the enemy will move, then dodge roll and beat him. You can lock on single target, but I found out that if you are fighting with multiple enemies, it's better not to do it, because your combos can hit multiple targets. There are available weapons in the game. You can find pipes, pieces of wood, buckets, radio and others. They can change the course of a battle. After a few hits they break. I really like how Train is picking up items, by dodge rolling. This is the coolest way. No need to stop and picking it up and wasting time. It's a great idea. Here, stealth is encouraged. A lot of battles can be avoided, you don't get experience points from them, so it's better to crouch, walk behind enemy and knock him down. There isn't some stealth mechanic, like sticking to a wall for example. Just crouch, hide or get somewhere high and wait for your moment to strike. You have to hold two buttons to knock enemy down, but either you have to do it extremely precise or I am doing it wrong, because a lot of the times I just start a fight. It's probably my fault. Except fighting and platforming, big part of the game is painting graffitis. They are awesome! Their design is incredible. Through them you gain reputation and unlock concept art, combos, graffiti and so on. While painting you have limited time for doing it. In addition to that you must not make drips. If you succeed with both, this will grant you more reputation and unlock faster everything I mentioned above. When you start to paint, pressure in a can lowers and you have to stop to recharge it. When you enter a level you have few main graffitis to paint and some optional. More you make, more reputation you will gain. Other side objectives vary between writing sticking posters, I hate them, and others to wall, cars, doors. Before each mission you can choose your arsenal of graffitis, stickers and others. If you don't want to, the game will change them for you if you unlock them. For easier way to find all spots to hit, you have intuition. Sometimes they are not easy to see. With the press of a button, all the places you can paint are marked with X. Level design is also made diverse. The game is linear, it's not open world. Slums, factory for meat, bridge, warehouse and so on. All are greatly designed so you can climb where you need to go to fight and to paint graffiti. Platforming is not a challenge. You just need to look around for a few seconds. Sometimes levels are wide open, others more linear. When you start a level, your objectives will be shown. How you approach them, it's up to you to decide. But start with stealth. A lot of times levels are heavily guarded. There are some that keep you on your toes because of a time limit, others because of the design. You can find few hidden items, iPods for unlocking songs, bags for more health or power bar, cans for more pressure when you paint. Health is restored by picking a pack of 4 cans. Enemies are fairly diverse. In the beginning people from Gabe's crew will be your enemies most of the time. But then you will face CCK. They wear orange and later silver armor. Some are dressed like hobos, others have guns, stun button, and they will get progressively tougher. Don't let enemies surround you. Then, in most cases, it's game over. By the end, you will encounter agents and they can see you. Boss battles are great. Everyone has a different set of moves and requires patience to beat them. For some, just beating them is not enough. They have different requirements to finish the fight and it's a great idea. In the beginning I mentioned I have problem with the AI. It's easily exploitable. If you trigger alarm or enemy see you, just jump on a car or a rail car, crouch and you'll be fine. I have seen similar AI behavior in other games where they just stop searching after you manage to stay hidden enough, but I still don't like it. On the other hand, it's fine, because the game is designed in such a way that this is the only way to lose the heat. They even like to suicide. On the plus side, enemies have peripheral vision. Sound design as a whole is great. You can feel every punch or kick you make, especially the one that uses the power bar. They have more deep bass and sounds like someone's jaw is crushed. Using a weapon is satisfying. Pipe sounds metal, wood like wood, spraying and shaking the can sounds authentic, and so on. Voice acting is also good. A whole bunch of Hollywood actors can be heard. Train is the best of them all, but I don't like some of the secondary characters. They are just meh. The best part here is the soundtrack. It's phenomenal. Through the most of the levels you will hear instrumentals, are excellent of course, that will keep you engaged and on your toes. But in certain parts of a level or in a whole level, fantastic tracks will be played. When you hear the lyrics, you know how great they fit in this world. Let me give you a few advices before I wrap this up. The game is best played with a controller, but if you want, mouse and keyboard is an option. The problem is, the mouse sensitivity is too high and you have to dig in a file to lower it. And in the tutorial, mouse and key buttons are shown. You have to find what button for what it is if you use controller. If I can manage to do this, so you can. The game runs at 60 FPS, but you can unlock more. This applies for FOV and rebinding the keys. Set compatibility mode to Windows XP Service Pack 3 if you want the game to run on 1080p. Steam forums have other solutions, but in my experience this is what you have to do. To see how to do all this, check PC Gaming Wiki. If you never heard of this game, I won't be surprised. In the year when it came out, 2006, it's overshadowed by really strong titles like Metal Gear Solid 3, Tomb Raider Legend, Tom Clancy Ghost Recon Advanced Warfighter, Kingdom Hearts, and so on. The game received mixed reviews. It was accused to be too serious while comparing it to Jet Set Radio. Really? Too serious? So every game have to be cute and colorful? Critics can go to hell. The game have its share of bugs, but they are not game breaking. Here you will find style and substance. Graffiti, nice story, fantastic and diverse gameplay, great setting, amazing soundtrack, runs with 60 FPS, tight controls. What more can you want?